now that we got through what you doing, let's talk about a couple things. We'll get into the Shark Week thing. We were supposed to do a standard review. I'm going to air out some dirty laundry. Get off my lawn, Gerald.
I'm sorry, David.
All right, we talked about we're supposed to do a standard review.
Pokemon Go.
Yeah, exactly. It's all Pokemon's fault. Pokemango.
I really was dirty. Dirty.
I'll tell you.
No, he was dirty too.
Whoa, all right. After Dark podcast.
No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
Sure.
Take a shower, Gerald.
Yeah.
So normally we're supposed to do a sit-down standard review every week of something that me and you enjoyed. And this week, Batman vs. Superman Extended Edition, or Ultimate Edition came out. And we were supposed to both watch it. Gerald made me watch it. Well, Gerald didn't make me watch it, but he's like, watch this. It's 3 hours long. It's half an hour longer.
Okay, this was my plan for this. I wanted to redeem some listeners out there. Ellie.
Yeah, Ellie. You know who you are.
Criticized our review of Batman vs. Superman because we stomped on it because it is a terrible movie. So when this came out, there's 30 minutes or ish of new footage and that's supposedly
quote rated R.
Yeah, it's rated R. So that's supposed to tie some of the plot holes together and all that kind of stuff. And I still want to watch it.
And I watched it. I rented it and watched the stupid thing off of iTunes. So I'll tell you what I think.
They did. But so David, please tell us if they're right, if this really does make the movie a better movie. It's not going to make it. It's not going to take it from a 0 to a 10. But, does it make the movie better?
Yes.
Would you rate it differently?
The answer is yes. It does make the movie better. And I have a couple things that actually personally changed the movie. One is I saw it in 2 sittings. That helps. And I'm not.
What's 3 hours?
No, I know. But I'm saying, like, Lord of the Rings, I remember loving the movies in the theater, but watching it on DVD at home where I could pause it and take a second actually makes it a better experience. Now, I know you can't do that in a theater, so that's inevitably not the theater's fault.
Bring back intermissions.
No, honestly, why? Why not? Why not say we're going to
say what?
Yeah, I missed a really good part of Captain America because I had to use the restroom so bad because that movie was like almost 3 hours
and that's
long.
my point. And I think, plays do it, but they still do it. Mm-hmm. High school plays, professional plays, Broadway does it. Like, people still do it. Concerts do it. They take breaks. You know what I mean? I don't understand why that's not acceptable at all for movies.
It's difficult because you got to we got to plan. You're not going to end it on a high note or anything. You got to make it in the middle of a lull.
Well, that's what, no, you do. You go a little bit longer. You do the third act is the final, usually is where you do the intermission.
Did we recently see a movie? Oh, Hateful Eight had an intermission, right? In the middle of it, didn't it? Yeah.
Interesting. See?
But that's Quentin. That's like his thing.
But I'm saying, but I digress. Yeah. The movie is better. That's one reason is that I got to watch it in 2 sittings. And then 2 is I don't know if they went back and changed some of the dialogue as far as the volume of the dialogue and the mixing of the audio. It's easier to hear things.
Oh, that's good.
For instance, when Bruce Wayne at the very beginning falls down that well and he's doing a voiceover from about when he was a kid and his family died and he falls down that well.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I know.
His parents die.
There's probably about 30 different scenes that are different now. Some of them are seconds and some of them are minutes long. So when they say 30 extra minutes, it's it's not really 30 minutes of a scene. It's added up very, very minuscule.
That makes it, some of these things could possibly make a difference.
And so anyways, the voiceover when he's talking, when the bats lift him up, sounds better. When Flash comes through, the time portal and talks to Bruce Wayne in his sleep, quote unquote, asleep, I hear it. It is far clearer. Now,
oh my God. I remember when I watched the movie, I was like,
what did he say?
Yeah, everyone was like, what? What?
And this is what he actually says. I came too soon. Oh, I'm too soon. I'm too soon. No, but he's
Sarah, get your mind.
Jesus, I know, but he's talking about because he tells her Lois is the key, right? We kind of heard that, and you were right, and then Batman's looking at him like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, I came too soon. You don't know what I'm talking about, right?"
That makes so much more sense.
Right. Okay. That's one thing, and I'm going to spoil some stuff here. So if you really do want to go see the Ultimate Edition, but here's the big. I have 4 or 5 things that I think should have been in the movie. Absolutely should have been in the movie. The very first scene, the Civil War in, I think it's Nairobi. I think it's actually the when Lois Lane shows up in the desert and she's talking. He
saves her. Right?
Okay, there's a longer discussion between her and the war chief, I think is what he was called or whatever, the person who is the bad guy in that scene, about the U.S. government's involvement in this Civil War. And he talks about, it's so foreshadowing the whole movie. It's about, he says, ignorance is not innocence. And it's about this idea that you have to choose a side. You can't just play the middle. That's what this whole movie's about. Choosing sides.
Right.
And not trying to, you can't stand still. Okay.
You can't play for both teams.
Right. And she says, well, the U.S. government isn't involved. And he's like, sure, they're not. Well, you come to find out they are involved because as soon as Jimmy Olsen is gunned down, which again, Jimmy Olsen has like a short little interaction.
CIA agent.
He's a CIA agent, gets gunned down. As soon as he dies, it cuts to like the U.S. government like, oh, one of our operatives just got killed. And then they're like, okay, well, we're going to send in our team to go. He's like, oh, the S hit the F. We got to go save Lois. And so there's this crew of people that are far away from that compound and they're running towards them. And they're like, no, don't go. We're just going to send a drone and blow it all up. They're like, but we have an operative in there. We have Lois. Which I don't think she knows she's an operative. She's...
Yeah, well, she didn't know he was CIA.
Right, so, exactly. Yeah. And so they're like, nope, doesn't matter. They send a drone to go and just bomb this, right? And this sets up the whole plan. Superman, knowing Lois is there, right, destroys the drone as soon as it shoots out a missile. So now Superman has destroyed the missile that was supposed to kill all those people, the bad guys, quote unquote, blows up the drone, and then, you remember we were like, why does everybody think Superman killed all those people? Because he doesn't shoot anybody. They burn the bodies. They burn them to a crisp, which you wouldn't be able to identify that people were shot. They burn the heck out of them. And then they get out. The bad guys, that's the KG Beast, the guy with the tattoo on his neck.
Oh, okay.
So he burns all the bodies, and that's like, that makes sense. Superman's heat vision, he blew up the drone. It looks like he's trying to basically be this foreign, getting in mess that he shouldn't have, just to save Lois, right?
Yeah.
That makes so much more sense. That gives context to why, because the whole time I'm like, Superman doesn't shoot people. Why do they think Superman killed them? But the burned bodies make a lot more sense.
And that's funny because like the review I've heard of this is just like, why did they cut this?
No, and I know why. There's certain things
some things are obvious.
There's a lot more violence in that scene. Like there's some straight up gun battling, and they want to keep it PG-13. So there's some of that, but like burning bodies is pretty.
But like
pretty
plot
bad
stuff, it's like
they had to make cuts. The movie was already long. And so that's one thing that I think they should have kept in, and it does change it changes the.
But I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen the Ultimate Edition yet, but I feel like watching the original edition, there's so many things I would have cut in that. And this seems like a very integral thing to understand the plot of that.
Yeah.
Cut the stupid Jolly Rancher scene. Leave this.
Yeah, the Jolly Rancher scene's so bad. There's some stuff that's just undeniably bad in this movie.
But anyway,
okay, the bat branding. Remember when you get a bat brand, it pretty much is a death sentence when you go to the prison.
Yeah.
Well, it shows that that's part of Lex's plan. This is all part of Lex's plan, which actually plays up like how the plan, some of the fun things about a bad guy is seeing the execution of his plan. What's that contraption? What is it called? The contraption, the ball falls, it falls down.
Goldberg machine.
Goldberg machine. You see it in action. That's fun, even when it's against the heroes. He gets somebody to go in and kill the people that have bat brands on them. He tells prisoners to go kill the people. Lex does. He gets his goons to go tell people in prison, go kill this person. So that it fits the narrative that if you get bat branded, he's judge, jury, and executioner. Okay. That furthers Superman's idea that he's acting outside the bounds of decency and law. When in reality, prisoners aren't killing the people that are bat branded. Lex is he's paying off prisoners to go kill people with bat brands.
To set that
precedent idea in Superman's head. Genius. 2, the truth about the witness that talks about like, she's from Nairobi and she's like, oh, my family was killed when the government came in and this is all Superman's fault. You find out Lex threatened her, paid off her. That's huge. And she was completely lying.
That? Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. And then they go, they tie up loose ends and they end up, killing her.
Yeah.
Because that makes more sense, right? It plays up the story that she didn't hate Superman. She was being threatened to say all those things. And she had a script written by Lex. Here is probably the single most, I don't understand why they didn't put this in. Because it redeems Superman to some extent. The U.S. Congress scene, chair blows up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell me they added something.
They did. They added 2 important things. So,
Lois could have cut that.
I actually like that scene where she's like freaked out and she looks and she's like,
but why does it take 5 minutes for her to turn and look it up?
So here's the thing. We all were like, oh, that guy hates Superman. The guy in the wheelchair, the guy who lost his legs.
Guy from *Halt and Catch Fire*. Builds computers.
Exactly. He talks to, Lois Lane doing some good detective work because she's a reporter, goes to the guy's house after the death and everything. And she's looking around his apartment. After the explosion and looks around his apartment and is like, there's clearly this guy's insane. He's got like the Carrie Matheson like things on the wall, the card or the newspaper cutouts and like written in red blood and there's Superman crap everywhere and like, he's crazy. Then she looks around his kitchen and she picks up an orange and then she opens up his fridge and it's full of food and she's like, he didn't know he was going to die. That's a huge plot point. That
makes way more sense.
Lex didn't tell him he was going to use him as a bomb. Yeah. That changes the story. Second, after the scene, that blow up scene, Lois does some digging. She has this friend who's not in the movie at all. She's like a forensic, like CSI person who finds out that the bullet is made of unique metal. Well, so was the chair, and the chair was lead lined. So Superman couldn't see the bomb.
Dang.
That changes up Superman's idea of like, did I not see it because I didn't want to see it? Yeah. You couldn't see it. That changes the movie.
That
huge. Changes the arc of Superman because she's like, that's why he didn't see. She even says it out loud, which is kind of like, we all like, you don't.
We get it, Amy Adams.
Yeah, exactly. That's. I don't understand. I know there's other things that they definitely put in. There's more blood, like the Batman scene, where he's in the warehouse. There's like when he throws that box against that person and their head hits the wall, huge blood splatter. Like,
instead of nothing.
And then there's like a part with a knife and he like sticks it in a guy. Like it's a lot more brutal, which is fine. I get it. Don't put that in because it was.
Yeah, but Deadpool did so good rated R, so we're gonna make it rated R.
No, I know. Well, I think this was filmed before Deadpool.
Too,
but anyways,
wasn't there another scene you were talking about?
What?
Well, that made it R.
Oh, well, you see some bat butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole shower scene with Ben Affleck.
I will be watching that later.
Just pause it. Let me see his butt.
The other thing that I thought was not necessary, but it does lend the fact of, remember we talked about, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this movie, I don't know why you're still listening, Death of Superman, right at the end.
Yeah.
They show some scenes of Metropolis, during his funeral, the streets of Metropolis are empty, completely empty, which basically means everybody in Metropolis is at this funeral. It lends gravitas to the idea of like how much he mattered. And like in the comic books, it's a huge deal. Like every superhero across the universe comes to Superman's funeral. Like it's a big deal. And this kind of shows that. And then what's even more important is the funeral for Clark Kent. They don't show this, but like they show all these characters from Man of Steel, and they show all this potluck, all of these casseroles being put on the Kent table at their kitchen. And it shows like how important Superman was to everybody of Metropolis and the world, but also how important Clark Kent was as a Kansas farm boy.
Right.
Like, I'm getting goosebumps. That's what you want. That's what you want.
Yeah, I really feel like that scene, you didn't really get that.
You didn't get any Kent stuff. It was also
yeah.
Yeah, and I get why they cut it. There's some parts that are like really stupid, like Martha Kent's walking away and she's like, oh, I gotta get my checkbook out to pay for all the funeral. And they're like, oh, an anonymous donor paid for it. It's like, yeah, we know. Bruce Wayne paid for it. We get it. He's rich.
Yeah.
It's just like stupid stuff. I'm like, good. Cut that out. That's garbage. But it's just, they don't cut anything out, which, there's some stuff I think they could have cut out of the movie.
Jolly Rancher scene.
There's the CCTV footage.
Remember he like puts
he's like, I want the body of Zed. I want access to the ship. And he's like, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we could do that. You shouldn't have any barriers as a villain. Like, you should get everything you want so we can move this along. It's like, you have to have some resistance.
Lex Luthor, Jesse Eisenberg, like pushes a Jolly Rancher. He's like, here you go, it's cherry or something.
Yeah,
like
it's weird. You get a little bit. There's a little bit too also about Lex Luthor's dad. There's some couple lines which actually play an interesting fact into how Lex, Batman.
Wait, his dad's in this?
No, it's dialogue about his father.
Oh, okay.
He talks about like, oh, you're the Lex of LexCorp, and he's like, no, he said that so he said that to investors because they would cut checks. That I named the company after my son. Like, no, he's the Lex before the Corp.
Okay.
And it's things like that. But it shows like, there's some broken, obviously it's interesting to note the relationships that Superman, Batman, and Lex Luthor have with their father. And this comes up with the whole God idea and the father and the son and all that stuff. And it's subtle and it's not necessary for this movie because that's the problem with this movie. It wants to tell a big story, which Zack Snyder's always about. And I applaud him.
Picture.
I always applaud that. But that has to be done in subtle ways. But the movie then, watching again, there's a part when they're on that island and they're just like throwing dudes. It's just this giant explosion. It's like, this is it's just so weird. I
saw a supercut on YouTube of someone edited all the time as Batman is killing people. It's hilarious.
And that's and again, watching it, like I said, I think it's a better movie, but I think it has a lot more to do with the experience of watching it at a theater and then watching it in 2 sittings with headphones on. I can hear things better. And also I don't know if it's just because I didn't enjoy the movie the first time. I liked it more this time. I actually enjoyed the movie more than I did when I went to the
minus all the other stuff?
Oh, yeah, and I think...
Like if you watched the regular version again, you'd enjoy it more?
No, I don't think that... Because I can't unsee it, so I would just know what wasn't there. It's just, I understand there's certain choices that he makes, and every second matters in these movies. I know that. But there's certain things I'm like, you should have left that in because it explains something, or it... But the problem I have with this movie, which is the biggest problem in my opinion, of this universe, is just the morose, moody, no fun... And I get that you're going for that, but it's like,
well, the rumor was they've done a ton of reshoots for Suicide Squad to lighten up the movie.
They have to because
of
you're trying to you're fitting a square peg into a round hole, and I applaud you for trying to tell a different story. But then like some of the best scenes of this movie are like, honestly, I know it's cheesy, but it's like the scene where it's like, oh, I'm friends with your son. She's like, I guess the cape. Like it's you have to have some levity, otherwise your movie's just Schindler's List. Like you have to have levity to have darkness.
And that's fine in the Holocaust, but when it's superheroes and comics and stuff,
and I maybe I'm wrong in that, and I know people really love it, and I honestly I love watching these characters. Like the scene with the Trinity, Batman's got the gun, and Superman's like this, and she's got the shield, Wonder Woman, and the sword, and the. Like I'm
her music, her
I'm
theme.
like, let's go. Like, and I love that. Like, it gets me hyped. I watched that and I was just like, go get him. Like, I know you're gonna like what's gonna happen, but I'm like, just go get him. Somehow win this time. I want Wonder Woman to cut off his head and just be like, I took care of it, guys. Like, it's just awesome. So
interesting.
For me, it goes from a thumbs down to a thumbs to the side. It's a better movie now.
That's a lot.
Because it explains, it foreshadows certain things, and it shows why so many people would be questioning Superman. Because I was always like, he saved the freaking world. But if like burnt bodies, like who burns bodies? Like terrorists don't burn bodies; they just shoot people, right? It's like it makes more sense. And then like the guy not knowing he was supposed to kill. Like I was like, he was so mad at Superman, he didn't want to kill him. He just wanted him to explain and like be held accountable. Like.
The Leatherline wheelchair makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
That is like.
I don't just know who to blame. Did Zach cut this, or was it like studios like?
No, I think that's his. I think it's his movie. This is his version of the movie because it's not like cut scenes that aren't edited with like the full like because you've seen like deleted scenes from movies and you can see the low res like none of the CGI is put on top of it. This all has that, so it's all there. Okay.
Zach, what are you doing?
That's our standard review of the week from just David this time, but go see it again. I'd be interested to know what people's opinion, if that's changed at all. Let us know, comments down below, or shoot us an email. Let us know. Okay. Now we're going to get to it. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Shark Week. That's why we have Sarah here. Either Disney or Sharks, or Disney Sharks.